Alright, this is Vegeta8259, and today I'm going to be starting a review on the Master Grade Crossbone Gundam full cloth version. And as you can see, I've gotten a new toy here. It's a rotating display base. I picked this up at Hobby Lobby for about $20. I do have to apologize to Robert184. I'm not copying you intentionally. It was just such a handy gimmick to have that I couldn't resist picking it up, so it looks like I'll be using this quite a bit from here on out. Anyway, I am going to be reviewing this kit first as the Crossbone Gundam, and then just to go over articulation, and then I'll be adding on the full cloth armor. So, let's go ahead and get started. Move this out of the way. And basically, you do get a, well, actually you almost get a full Crossbone Gundam Verka in this kit, with the only exception being the cloth gray cloak that came with the Verka. That's the only thing you don't get with this kit. Everything else, all the weapons are included, plus you get the full cloth weapons and armor. Actually, plus you also get a few different parts for the Crossbone Gundam. As far as differences to the Crossbone Gundam's main body goes, the head is different. In fact, the only part of the head that's the same is the, I guess you could call it an inner frame part. And then the little piece that goes up and down on the faceplate. Those are the only two parts that are the same. Oh, and the yellow V-fin. The whole V-fin thing is the same. But you get different parts for the side of the head, different part for the top, you get a different chin piece, and you get this large antenna that's on the side of the head right here. So, for color differences, this kit is unpainted, by the way, because I'm going to be, as I've mentioned before, I'm going to be painting this into a Crossbone X2, which you'll see after I review this full cloth version. So this is unpainted, so these are the colors you're going to get straight out of the box. You get white, obviously, you get yellow, red, you get a very, very dark purple for the black parts. I'm not sure if that's actually showing up on camera. I'm looking at my camera screen and it looks black on the camera, but in real life it's definitely got a purple shade to it. And then the inner frame is not your standard gray, it's kind of a brownish dark gray. And let's see, you get, I think you just get two clear parts. Clear part for the eyes, and then you get a clear part for the camera on the buster gun. Oh, and you get lots of clear pink parts for beam effect parts. How could I forget those? Let's see, so for standard Crossbone articulation, actually before I do that, let me go over decals, since I'm not going to be using these anyway. You do get a sheet of foil stickers, lots of yellow parts for little thrusters and things like that, plus the forehead cameras and sticker for the eyes. You get a sheet of dry transfer decals with a very nice XMX1 logo with a little Grim Reaper on there and a big skull heart logo, so these look pretty nice. And you get a relatively small sheet of clear marking stickers. So now onto articulation. The head is double jointed, so it's got a ball joint at the neck and then a hinge at the base of the neck that goes up and down, so you can go up and down at the neck, side to side. It can rotate 360, and then that joint at the base of the neck is going to let it go forward and back like so. For the torso, you've actually got a double joint in here. There's a ball joint at the waist, which lets it go forward and back, side to side, rotate, but it's not going to go 360 just because of the skirt armor. It's only going to go about that far. And there's actually a ball joint at mid-torso between these two white sections right here, but it really doesn't allow much movement at all. I mean, it's barely any movement at all. In fact, I don't even know why it's there. But it is there. The cockpit hatch opens, and you can see, if I can get the shadow of my hand out of the way, you can see a cockpit for the core fighter inside there. Let's see, the crossbone thrusters on the back of the core fighter they're actually the two on the bottom and the two at the top are connected from a little hinge right here in the center, so they move together, and then each one is on its own little hinge that can swing back and forth. So you can bring them all together like so, or you can spread them out as far as you want. And a lot of people have complaints about this kit with looseness. The only two parts on this kit that I find to be loose are the thrusters, specifically this little joint right here in the middle that lets the two move together. I find that gets loose pretty quick, and then the head seems pretty loose in my opinion. But other than that, I haven't had any problems with looseness. Let's see, the shoulders have a joint in the torso where they can go forward like so. They can go up about that far. Shoulder can go down, and then there's rotation below the shoulder. The elbow joints actually kind of remind me of the old polycap elbows from the 90s, only they look a whole lot better, because they can actually come apart at the elbow, and see there's a peg there. But there's no polycaps in this kit, it's all plastic. But you do get a double jointed elbow that can bend full 180, and because of that peg you get rotation at the elbow. And the shoulder armor has some funny articulation. It can come out like so, kind of exposing the inner frame for the shoulder armor, and then that can come up, so really articulated shoulder armor for some reason. Not really sure what the point of it is, but anyway. And this little clip can come up and down, but that's really more for the full cloth, or the little gray cloak if you have the Verka. The hands, the wrists are on a ball joint, so they can rotate and wiggle, plus there's a hinge that's inside the hand that lets it bend down and back. The thumb is on a ball joint, of course, being a master grade. And the index finger is on a ball joint, so it can rotate and wiggle and do all that stuff. But the other 3 fingers are just on a hinge, and they can go up and down. And then you've got the little part right here for the beam brand, which can swing forward, but I'll get to that later when I do accessories. Each part of the skirt armor is on a ball joint. So the front skirts are on a ball joint, so they can come forward about that far. Actually, they're on a ball joint hinge combo. And the skirt armor just came off. Anyway, they've got a hinge coupled with a ball joint, so they can go about that far and then rotate out. Side skirts can rotate a little bit. Of course, they're not very big, so they're not going to get in the way very much. And then the back skirts can rotate. They're just on a regular ball joint. The hips are very nice. They're pretty much like 2.0 hips. They can go forward very, very far. They can go back quite a ways. And they can go out until they touch Crossbone Gundam's hand. In fact, the legs are so posable that the skirt armor gets in the way and then just kind of pops off when you try to move the legs too far. Anyway, the knees are double jointed, and you're actually not quite a full 180, but almost. Just about a full 180 degrees. Maybe like 175. And then the ankles are going to be on a ball joint. They go side to side, they go back, and they go forward. The foot has a joint in it where it can go bend forward, but it can't bend down at all. The ankle joints are on just a hinge, so they can go forward and back, and these little spiky things can go up and down as well. Let's see, did I miss anything with articulation? I don't think I did. While I've still got a little bit of time, I'll go ahead and do the core fighter. That way we won't have to bother with it during the accessories in part 2. Oops, the thrusters just came off. For all the complaints this kit has about looseness, I find that the core fighter is very, very tight and very hard to get out. And this is before being painted. It's even harder to get out after it's been painted. Anyway, you pull it out and it looks like this. All you have to do is flip the end of the nose cone out, bring the beam sabers down, and then the fuselage comes forward and you'll hear it kind of snap into place. So flap comes down, and that's pretty much it. Got a nice little core fighter here. The cockpit has a clear piece. It can open up and you can see the pilot in there. And of course the thrusters can move in the same way they did when they were attached to the Crossbone Gundam, but I think most of the time it's left like this. There's also a little flap up here that goes up and down, but I haven't really found a use for it. So yeah, I usually just leave it down. Anyway, I guess that about does it for part 1 of the Crossbone full cloth review. Some of you might be disappointed that I didn't get into the full cloth at all, but if you are disappointed, then just make sure to stay around for part 2, because that's when I will be going over the enormous amount of accessories that this kit comes with. So I will see you guys next time.